Summer is supposed to be about relaxation, fun in the sun, and making memories to last a lifetime. But for some people, their summer experiences turn into nightmares they can never forget. Today, I'm going to share 3 terrifying true summer horror stories that will make you think twice about your carefree summer plans. Our first story comes from a man who thought he'd made a new friend at a bar one summer night. I met a guy named Matt, and we exchanged Instagram handles after bonding over a Cubs game. Matt seemed totally normal. His social media showed him as an active 27-year-old who enjoyed traveling and going out. Nothing suspicious. The next day, I ran into Matt again at another bar. It seemed like a coincidence. Matt claimed it was his favorite Saturday spot. We hung out, and Matt even joined my friend group for the evening. A week later, Matt invited me golfing, and despite not being very good, I accepted. We had a good time, played 9 holes, got food, and went our separate ways. Then came the invitation that would change everything. Matt asked me to join a hiking trip to Arizona. The Grand Canyon had always been on my bucket list, so I immediately said yes. I tried to get my friends to come along, but they all declined. Matt mentioned he was going solo too, which didn't seem weird at the time. Matt and I flew out on August 15th, with return flights scheduled for the 18th. After landing, we picked up a rental car, grabbed food and alcohol, and headed to the Airbnb. That's when the first red flag appeared. There was only one bed. Matt casually pointed to the couch and said, "It's a pullout," adding that he wouldn't charge for the Airbnb. A free stay in Arizona seemed worth sleeping on a couch. During the night, I woke up to Matt walking through the living room to get water. Nothing unusual. The next day, we hiked the Grand Canyon, with Matt constantly pushing me to keep up despite being exhausted. We took breaks, captured amazing photos, and eventually headed back to Phoenix, where we proceeded to drink heavily at multiple bars. That night is where things got strange. After passing out on the couch, I woke up needing to use the bathroom. I heard a cracking noise in the floor, but saw nothing. While in the bathroom, I heard a door clicking shut, likely Matt's bedroom door. When I tried to check, the door was locked, and Matt didn't respond to my knocks. The next morning, I noticed my phone wasn't where I left it. It had been moved from the floor where it was charging to the table, now unplugged. I chalked it up to being drunk and confused. We spent the day exploring Phoenix, and against my better judgment, got drunk again that night. This time, Matt insisted I take the bed, while Matt would sleep on the couch. I agreed, went to the bedroom, and fell asleep. I woke up shortly after to find my phone missing again. While searching for it, I discovered Matt lying face down on the floor beside the bed. When confronted, Matt claimed he was so drunk, he walked into the wrong room, realized his mistake, and passed out on the floor. But that explanation made no sense. Matt was on the side of the bed furthest from the door. When asked about the missing phone, Matt immediately found it under the bed. Too suspicious to be coincidental. I decided to return to the couch, but Matt insisted I stay in the bed. After Matt left, I locked the door. But the horror wasn't over. I woke up yet again to find Matt standing at the foot of my bed, visible only as a silhouette in the darkness. Then Matt sat down and started rubbing my foot. Terrified, I screamed and physically pushed him out of the room. I immediately packed my things while Matt silently watched from the couch, like a creepy NPC. I called an Uber to the airport, changed my seat on the flight, and did everything possible to avoid Matt. Later, after telling my friends, some admitted they thought Matt was weird from the beginning, pointing out how he was always alone when they saw him. The most chilling part? After blocking Matt on social media, I contacted one of the people in Matt's Instagram photos. This person wasn't even following Matt anymore and warned, "Nah, guy's a freak. Run away." Apparently, Matt's entire friend group had cut him off for similar behavior. The former friend wasn't surprised by the Arizona story at all, saying, "Guy should be in jail." What began as a normal friendship turned into a nightmare of stalking, potential theft, and predatory behavior. Sometimes the scariest monsters aren't supernatural. They're the seemingly normal people we meet on a summer night. Our second story takes place in Ocean City, Maryland, where 3 college friends, Kyle, Jason, and Marcus, reunited for a weekend beach trip. They stayed at Jason's family beach house a couple blocks from the sand. After a day of enjoying the boardwalk, arcades, and people watching, they returned to the house for drinks and games. By midnight, drunk and bored, they decided to head to the nearly empty beach. With just hoodies, phones, and a flashlight, they walked along the shoreline under the dim moonlight. At some point, they laid down in the sand near a lifeguard tower, just talking and looking at the stars. That's when Jason noticed something, a figure walking along the shoreline about 50 to 60 yards away. At first, they assumed it was just another late-night beachgoer, but something was off about the way the person moved. Their walk was stiff, slow, and mechanical. Their arms didn't swing naturally, and their head was tilted at an odd angle, like they were scanning the sand. The friends fell silent, watching as the figure suddenly stopped moving and stood completely still. Even more unnerving, they realized the person was now closer, about 30 yards away. Marcus pointed out that they'd been standing motionless for about 5 minutes. Then Jason said something chilling. "He's not just standing, he's looking at you, Kyle." Jason shined the flashlight at the figure. The battery was dying, so the beam only illuminated the person for a second, but that was enough. They saw a grayish-white man with no shirt, wearing wet jeans. His arms hung limp at his sides, his head tilted unnaturally, and his eyes were wide open, almost bulging. The moment the light hit him, the figure broke into an unnatural sprint directly toward them. There was no buildup. He went from standing completely still to full speed in an instant. The friends ran in terror, not looking back until they reached the street. When they finally turned around, the figure was gone. The beach was empty, with no footprints behind them. They spent a sleepless night at the house, locking all doors and windows. Though they tried to rationalize the experience the next day, none of them believed their own explanations. They stayed one more night but didn't leave the house and left early the following morning. Weeks later, Jason began having recurring nightmares about the pale man standing in the corner of his room, soaking wet, head tilted, just staring. Kyle admitted he was having the exact same dreams and sometimes heard wet footsteps in his hallway at night. Almost a year later, Kyle saw a post in a local Ocean City Facebook group. Someone had uploaded a grainy photo of a creepy man standing by the water at 1 a.m., the same pale figure with the same unnatural posture. The comments revealed dozens of similar sightings, people who had seen him standing for hours, walking into the water and never returning, and even finding unexplained wet footprints on their porches. Our final story takes place in a coastal New England town where a 19-year-old young man named Sam and his friend Emerson decided to take a boat out after work. They anchored in a popular spot between two other boats and started drinking beers. When one boat left and the music from the other stopped, they jokingly yelled for them to turn it back on. That's when they noticed 3 people standing on the edge of the remaining boat, silently staring at them. In the darkness, they could only make out silhouettes. While Sam laughed it off, Emerson sensed something was wrong. After a few minutes of this unsettling staring, one of the figures let out a slow, low, raspy laugh that sounded almost sinister. Then they heard 2 splashes. 2 of the figures had entered the water, leaving only one on the boat. Emerson immediately started pulling up the anchor, while Sam, still not taking the situation seriously, laughed at his friend's concern. Suddenly, they heard swimming sounds near their boat. The splashing stopped abruptly when Sam called out, "Hello." Then, without warning, someone tried to climb onto the back of their boat while another hand grabbed the railing near Emerson, who was ready to fight with the anchor. They managed to start the boat and escape, though they hit a sandbar in their panic. After backing out into open water, they saw the other boat's lights approaching rapidly. Despite going full throttle, the mysterious boat was gaining on them. Just as they neared the docks, with the pursuing boat close enough to see its bow, Sam made a hard left toward the shore. Miraculously, the other boat peeled off in the other direction. They made it safely back to the docks, thankful there was no damage to the boat. Later, they speculated with friends about the stranger's intentions, perhaps robbery or boat theft. The boat wasn't familiar, suggesting the people weren't locals. Whatever their motives, Sam credits Emerson's skepticism for potentially saving their lives. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Be safe.